What's going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Ty, the Lego guy here, and welcome to episode 21 of Ty's Talks, a Q&A series. This one had a lot of great questions, including the upcoming rumored Lego Star Wars set, which one I think it maybe is, along with my top 5 favorite minifigures, and why I started YouTube, along with a bunch of other really good questions. You guys came up with some really good stuff. And again, guys, if you have questions for next Ty's Talks, just leave them in the comments and we'll get to them in episode 22. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And our first question comes to us from Jawa, and he asks, do you think Lego has finally learned their lesson with app-based sets not working? So when I initially read this question, I thought, yes, Lego definitely has probably figured it out, because if you look at Hidden Side, even though the builds were really good, it failed. If you look at Videyo, it's no secret that Videyo is not doing too well. In fact, most places you can get it half off, except for Canada. I'm still waiting for them to discount them. But everywhere else in the world, it seems that Videyo is going under. So you'd think Lego would notice, hey, Lego fans, people, they really don't care about the apps and gimmicks. They just want a good build. And we got to stop advertising the apps and whatnot. But then I thought of Lego Mario. Now, Lego Mario is Nintendo, and it would probably be very difficult for Nintendo to ever do bad with whatever they do, just because there's so many Nintendo fans, including myself. However, Lego might not see that, and they think, hey, yeah, the apps, we just messed up on Videyo and Hidden Side, but look at Lego Mario, it's doing great. So they may think that, even though that's not the whole story, but because of Lego Mario, I basically would say Lego's not gonna figure it out. But if Lego Mario didn't exist, Lego probably would, but because it does, unfortunately, they probably won't realize it, even though Videyo had actually some cool builds, and Hidden Side definitely did, but they just gotta stop pushing those app-based sets, in my opinion. Alpha Bricks channel says, question, would you ever buy third-party printed Lego pieces, like a custom minifig or a piece that has the image of the sticker from an official Lego set printed on it, so you have a printed piece instead of a sticker? Or are you such a purist that you would still prefer the official Lego sticker? So this kind of has two folds to this question. I would definitely buy a custom minifigure or a custom set, like a MTT, something like that, or like a Phase 2 Cody or 99, since I'm going to start building Camino. I have it finally taken down, but anyways, we're not talking about that. Yeah, I would definitely buy a custom set or a custom minifigure. As far as me preferring a third-party seller, not Lepin or something, but a third-party seller that used a Lego piece and had a printed piece on it, I'm still a Lego purist in the sense that I'd rather have this set 100% Lego with the stickers, as much as I'm not a sticker guy, instead of having that printed piece. I may still buy that printed piece, but I still want to have that sticker with that brick, is basically what I'm saying. But yeah, great question. I kind of had to think about that one. It's a twofold answer. Customs, definitely. But as far as me wanting the Lego set 100%, I'd probably still want the set 100% if I had to give up the sticker and the piece to get that custom printed piece. But yeah, really good one. Had to think about it. Ryman 6000 says, have you ever been into card collecting or card games like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, etc.? So yes, I collect other things besides Lego. That's kind of goes with being a Lego collector. You tend to collect other stuff like model cars and whatnot. I did collect Pokemon cards when I was really young, but then I got out of it. And I actually have collected like these Star Wars cards that came in like ship bags. They were all based off the Clone Wars. They were absolutely amazing. I still actually own those, which is actually pretty cool. And I also collected like Tassos and stuff like that, which are basically like these circular discs, and there's a game with it. They have printing of it of like The Simpsons or something else. So yes, I am into collecting stuff, and I'd like to maybe get into some different cards and whatnot, but the problem with Lego and collecting it is it just ends up taking up so much space. So I try to stay out of collecting something new, just because I know if I get into it, I'm gonna want half of what they have. Like, I just know me, and I don't have enough space as it is with Lego. So I'm trying to kind of push that back. But yes, I have collected a little bit, other things in the past. Like, I have a big video game collection as well, but I try to stay away from it just because I know that I'm going to run out of space. And, as a secondary thing, it ends up costing a lot of money. Yeah, had to think about that one. But yeah, definitely try to stay away from collecting other stuff if you are into collecting Lego. Ben Adams comes in with a really good question, and he asks, favorite non-licensed theme that lasted only 3 waves or less, short-lived theme. So I had to think about this one. I would have maybe gone with UFO or Explorines, just because they're great themes, like, or Aqua Zone. There's so many good themes that have existed for 3 waves or less. But I'm probably going to go with Wild West. That was around for only 1 wave, maybe 2, like if you include like 96, 97, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, they had a fort, they had a sheriff's office, they had a bank and a general store, they had a, awesome Native American sets, they had a gold mine. Really, really like that theme. In fact, I just made my top 10 themes that should return, and Wild West was number 2 on that list. Hopefully they come back, but yeah, that one was phenomenal. And maybe if they did bring it back, we'd get maybe like a saloon and a train or something. But yeah, Wild West probably comes in at number 1 for me. Just a great theme overall, and yeah, I'd be thrilled. I'd buy every single set they brought out, as long as they did it justice, if they gave us that theme again. Dressman G asks, what's your all-time favorite minifigures as a top 5 or top 10 or something similar? So I really got to make a video on this because this is a really good question, but I'm probably going to go off the top of my head, not that I didn't think about this because I did, but number 1, I'd probably go with the Boba Fett from the 2001 Cloud City with the arm and leg printing. Phenomenal looking minifigure. Number 2, I'd probably go with Mr. Gold from Series 10. Really cool looking minifigure, and he's super expensive nowadays. Number 3, I'm probably gonna go with Darth Revan from the, he's a promo back in 2012 as well. And for number 4, I'm probably gonna go with something a little odd, maybe King Kahuka or Aku. King Kahuka from the Islanders or Aku from the Adventurer theme. Both phenomenal looking minifigures, way ahead of their time. They had leg printing, all that jazz, custom molded helmets. Like, I really, really like them. And at number 5, I'm probably gonna go with a minifigure that represents a theme I love. Not so much that he's an amazing minifigure, although he's pretty decent, but more so because of what he represents. I'm probably gonna go with Johnny Thunder. I absolutely love the adventure theme. And it's one of those things, without Johnny Thunder, Lego Adventures could simply not exist. So because of him and what he represents, I'm probably gonna go with that minifigure. If we're getting really expensive, yes, I'd obviously go with the gold C-3PO, but that doesn't seem realistic, but he'd definitely be number 1 if I could have him. Great question, and you gave me a good idea for an upcoming video. Maybe you guys will see that top 10 minifigures video come out sometime soon. Ben Adams says, favorite Sith power, like Force Stealth, Force Lightning, Sith Storm, etc. Okay, so I had to think about this one as well. As much as I'm more so a Jedi guy, like I'd love to, have Force Speed where you can run fast. Not that Sith can't do that, but that's, it's not a light or dark power. Also, Stealth, I believe, is that a Sith powered? Because Obi-Wan was pretty stealthy. I don't know if that was a Sith power, but if you're thinking like Palpatine, maybe it was, just because he was able to fool all those Jedi, right? Like keep basically his Force hidden from them. But I'm probably gonna go really generic and just say, I'm gonna go with Force Lightning. I think that'd be a really cool power. I mean, who doesn't wanna shoot lightning out of their hands? There's other Force powers that I'd maybe prefer over it, if you're including light side powers. But yeah, as a dark side power, I'm definitely gonna go with Force Lightning. Connor Meehan comes up with a really great question, being, they've done the gunship and soon the AT-AT. What do you think the next UCS set will be? So I had to think about this. And yes, Lego has said that, hey, if the gunship does really well, we're gonna bring back the episode 2 Jedi Starfighter that Obi-Wan flew. And that would be great, because I absolutely love that fighter. But if I'm being realistic, I'm probably gonna say Lego likes to make the original trilogy UCS sets by far the most. So I'm gonna say they're probably gonna come up with the X-Wing, just because that's actually 10 years. The X-Wing came out in 2012, the UCS one. So 10 years, I could see them bringing that X-Wing back. Yes, they've done it twice, but it's been 10 years, very popular, and I never was able to get my hands on it. I know a number of other fans are like that. So probably the X-Wing. But if I'm being, if I'm thinking maybe what Lego's thinking and making money, they're probably gonna go with maybe the Slave One as well. Because the last one came out in 2015. It's been 7 years as of May 2022. And I could definitely see a $200 US set come out that is the Slave One. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, either of those sets I think will be top contenders for the 2022 set, either the X-Wing or the Slave One. Both are very popular. LEGO would make a bunch of money from both of them, and they're both original trilogy, which is what LEGO loves to do. It's kind of unfortunate, as you know, because I love a lot of prequel sets. But again, I'm not gonna complain about it. I love original trilogy sets as well, and I think that those top two would maybe come out in May 2022. Big Mr. T asks, hope this hasn't been asked yet, but what do you think was the darkest era of LEGO since you started collecting, either by year or years? I really like this question, by the way. In fact, this might make its way into the thumbnail, and it hasn't been asked before. And I love the fact that you made it specific to when I started collecting, because you're not going back to the 80s. I didn't exist in the 80s, so I wouldn't know, or like the 70s, or I wouldn't have as good a grasp, basically. But if I'm saying since I've been collecting, I'm probably gonna go with 2000 to 2005, when LEGO almost went bankrupt and themes like Bionicle and Star Wars kind of saved it. It's not to say there wasn't great sets during that time, because I didn't even know LEGO was, you know, having difficulty back then, because, you know, I love the adventure theme, I love the Star Wars theme, I love Bionicle, and, you know, I was buying up those sets. But yeah, that probably was the darkest era of LEGO in the time period that I've collected LEGO, since, you know, they almost went bankrupt because of dumb themes though that they brought out, like Galador and whatnot. It really went there's no other way to say it. But you know, certain themes did pull it out basically of the gutter. That was probably the darkest era, I'd say. It wasn't because I knew about it, just because, again, I was a happy kid buying up LEGO sets. I didn't even, you know, think of it. But yeah, that probably was the darkest era for LEGO, and just because basically they could have went bankrupt in those years, and that's why I've gone with it. Scott Davis asks, Ty, if you could pilot any one Star Wars vehicle, any trilogy, what would you pick? Okay, so I like the fact that you made it piloting, because if you would have said you know, not set, ship I'd like to own, probably would be the Slave One or the Millennium Falcon, just because they're big enough ships to, you know, live in and fly around, but they're not so big like a Venator that it's gonna be really difficult to maintain. It's also not like an X-Wing or a TIE fighter where you can just fly it, but you still need a place to live. Like, how awesome is that if you're able to like fly around in a ship and live in it? So if we're talking just piloting a ship, I'm probably gonna go really generic and just say an X-Wing fighter. When I was a little kid, that's what I fantasized about flying. You know, that was a ship that I would love to, you know, be in, fly around the galaxy with. There's other ships that came to mind, maybe like the Millennium Falcon or like maybe Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. But if I'm being honest, I'd love just to pilot an X-Wing. You also can go light speed with it, unlike like maybe an A-Wing or something like that. So anyways, yeah, definitely gonna go with an X-Wing. Had to think about it, but yeah, I'm gonna go pretty generic and just choose, you know, the main Rebel ship. Yeah, you can't beat that. And our last question comes to us from Black Series Supreme Leader Kylo Sam. And he says, I got a question for you. When did you start YouTube and why? So yeah, this is a good one. I started YouTube back in November of 2018. So we're coming up on my 3-year anniversary of the channel. So that's kind of exciting. And as far as why I started YouTube, well, I was watching like Ryan or M&R Productions or Just Too Good or, you know, Justin, and I saw them, you know, doing a YouTube channel, and I thought, you know what, why don't I try this? Because I love LEGO as well, and yeah, let's see what it's all about, right? Like, let's try this out. I also saw the fact that they were making a living doing something they absolutely loved, and I thought, how cool would that be if you could actually do what you love and actually have that as a job? So that's why I kind of started YouTube, basically. Main reason because I love LEGO, and you know, I was influenced from watching different YouTubers like that. And then as a secondary thing, thinking, you know what, if I could do this as a living, that would be absolutely great. Who doesn't want to do LEGO and actually do that as their job? But yeah, great question. That basically summarizes it. Yeah, LEGO's awesome, and that's basically the main reason why I started a YouTube channel. But yeah, that pretty well does the video. But yeah, guys, if you have questions for next Ty's Talks, just leave in the comments and we'll get to it in episode 22. And again, guys, if you guys like the video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future Q&As. We do one of them once a month, and yeah, you guys come up with a lot of great questions, things I wouldn't normally think about. Basically, it kind of broadens my horizons, or whatever the expression is, because I think about stuff that I just would never normally come up with. But yeah, that's pretty well gonna do the video again. But thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support, and I'll catch you on the next one.